Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and this is my tips and tricks guide for Cooler in Season 3 of Dragon Ball FighterZ. So as always with these tips and tricks guys, they're going to be longer videos, and with that in mind, I have timestamps in the video description if you want to skip around, also in the top pinned comment on YouTube. So there's going to be a lot of topics covered, from more beginner level stuff to more advanced level stuff and all points in between, and with all that said, let's start at the start. Alright, now let's start with Cooler's basic moveset. Now first and foremost, he does have two command normals. That is forward H, this guy here, the stomp. Now forward H is a low. So you can see here Frieza does have to crouch to block it. It's important for combo structure and all that, and we'll go over it later, but just for a quick note here, hey, it's a command normal, and hey, it's a low. The next one here is down, forward, and heavy. That is his Genocidal Uppercut. And Genocidal Uppercut is kind of a big deal, and we'll cover it more in depth later in the video. So with that said, here's the special moves. Now, first up for our special moves is the Death Chaser. Now, just to get ahead of this here, all the moves say death something, just so you know. Death Chaser, it's quarter circle forward on your attack buttons, and it is the dive kick. Very unique to Cooler in how it works. A couple people have dive kick moves, but other people don't have plus on block dive kicks like Cooler does. So Cooler's medium and EX versions of his dive kick are both advantage on block, +2 on block, so just like a vanish. So after these moves are blocked, it is still your turn, not the enemy's turn. The light, however, is negative, although not punishable. So they're good for space control, obviously, because, you know, hey, you go at a completely different angle than you used to. And they are a bit on the slower side. Now, the light and the EX versions are 24 frames each. And let's turn on our visualizer so you can see that. So 24 frames is the same as the universal overhead, just so you know. So you have just as much time to react. Now, technically, because it is a truly airborne attack, you can down heavy out of it, but 24 frames, it is challenging on your reaction, right? The medium is 33 frames, so while if you're not expecting it, you can still get people, sure, but don't just abuse it, because since he does have that reel back, after a while people will realize what's going on just down heavy, right? But still, a source of meterless plus on block is rare in this game. The X does enough damage too, by the way. It does a fair bit of damage, on top of being quicker if you're going for the pure overhead aspect of it, versus just the advantage on frames, and all in all, it's a solid move. Now, as far as combo ability goes, most of the time you're going to be using the light dive kick as an ender. It's an alternate versus the uppercut, which we'll talk about in a second here. Mostly just because it gets you a little more screen. Like, pure, like, getting your opponent to the corner. The dive kick's a little bit better than the uppercut. One quick thing to note here, you can't normally really combo in the medium version. But if you do have the opponent in the corner and down heavy him, that bounce will give you enough time to get the medium dive kick off. It's not an optimal corner route, but just, hey, just so you know. Next, we have the Death Breaker, which is his uppercut. So it's quarter circle back on your attack buttons. So the uppercut, as you might infer, does have some invincibility. The medium and the EX versions are full invincible. The light version, however, only has partial invincibility. It is invincible only to air attacks, but it is invincible still on frame 1 to air attacks. So if you're going to be on your back and you're waking up trying to get someone, the medium or the EX is the way to go. Now, what makes this unique versus regular uppercut stuff is there's a follow-up. So after any of the 3 versions, if you hit the light button, it'll knock them behind you. If you hit the medium button, it'll knock them ahead of you. So you control where the enemy lands. Now, most times, you're going to want to knock them ahead of you. However, if you knock them behind you, you can do stuff like vanish them back into the corner. And of course, I dropped it because this is how it works when I record a video. But yeah, you can do this, knock them back, vanish, and then still get a follow-up, right? So you can set up your own snapback stuff in the corner thanks to knocking them backwards versus knocking them forwards. Now, on the knockback here, if you use a heavy, what's going to happen is a little bit different here, is you'll actually do a dive kick. And that dive kick is very handy as it lets you do air and ground supers, which is a thing for Cooler, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the video. And if you enhance the EX version, you'll actually do 2 dive kicks in a very satisfying animation, in my opinion. So if you're just looking for raw damage, that's the way to go. And considering EXs are much cheaper, in Season 1 and 2, it used to take you 2 bars to do this. Right now, it only takes you 1 bar. So it's a lot more worthwhile to do if you're going for it purely for damage reasons, as it does do a fair chunk of change even at high scaling, especially if you're in Sparking or in Limit Break. Now, next up here is the Death Flash. Once again, everything is called Death something. Death Flash is a beam, and there's not much to say for it other than that. It's a pretty bog standard beam, but you know what? It's better to have a beam than not, right? So Prime Vanish Bait, if it hit, cool, vanish, go from there, all that kind of stuff, right? And if it didn't, then whatever, just let it rock. Very safe on block 2, considering all things being equal here. So even if you're like point blank here, -7 from this far away, that's basically safe against everyone. Gives you time to backdash if you're so inclined. So yeah, hey, it's not revolutionary, but he does say yeah really funny when he says it, so it's pretty good by me. Death Shaker. So this is the full screen earthquake move. So this must be blocked low. This is a true low. Unlike most projectiles in the games, which are mids, be it ki blast, beams, whatever, you can block them crouching or standing, doesn't matter. This 100% has to be blocked low. Also, very strong vanish bait, as we gone over earlier, just like the beam, and you can do all sorts of stuff with it. And yeah, you can get a little tricky with it. Once again, being a low, and it being close to the same startup as his dive kicks, you can kind of force a little bit of an overhead low situation, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the video. But yeah, interesting move, mostly because nothing else like it. Now, once again, it being a low, it's also low to the ground, so it'll get smacked by random homing dashes in ways the beam would not. So be smart about its use, but still, hey, it's a pretty nifty move. Now, onto his super moves here. The first one is the Death Crasher. This is his grounded level 1. Now, the first thing you might notice here is it actually switches sides, and that cannot be helped. You always have to switch sides. There is stuff you can help do to make that work in your favor, and we'll talk about that later in the video. But yeah, you always got to switch sides. Now, the bonus of this is all super moves do minimum damage. No matter how big the combo is, they have a fixed amount of damage they can't do any less than. And for Cooler, he has one of the highest minimums in the game, over 900 damage. Most supers are like in the low 800s. And Cooler, nah, he's on the higher end of things. I believe only Tien and Teen Gohan have level 1 supers that do more minimum damage than Cooler, off the top of my head anyways. But yeah, so very high minimum damage. Now we have his aerial level 1 super, this guy here, and he just does a big old dunk. And this one is very easy to combo into. It does not switch sides, but it does have lower than average minimum damage scaling. It's just a bit over 800. So basically it comes in 2 flavors. You want the easy to work with one that doesn't switch sides, or you want the big damaging one that does more damage than usual. The choice is yours. So level 3's Coolers is one of the most unique in the game, as it is modular. It does different things if you're in the ground or if you're in the air. So if you're on the ground, as you see here, that was it. Like if I touch him, nothing's happening, right? It is a counter if you're on the ground. So any given attack here, if you touch him, that's it. You're getting got, right? You have to basically not hit buttons when Cooler is doing his level 3, or he's going to get you. Now, if he's in the air, the counterpart is gone. In the air, it becomes a true grab. And just so you know, you can tie your knee, like do it right off the ground for the grab. However, the grab will only hit standing people, not crouching people. So you can't use it like a true command grab, because if they're ducking, then you're just going to go over their head, right? So if you're in combos, as long as you're midair, just go for it, and it'll work just like you think. And on the ground, it is a defensive tool here that'll really bonk them on the noggin. Also, one thing, the counter starts on frame 1. So if you are getting hit by safe jump setups, like setups where they're trying to attack you in a specific way to hit you when you're rising, but avoid an invincible reversal, it won't work. It'll catch it on the first frame, and it'll destroy the safe jump setup. There is no such thing as safe jumping Coolers level 3. You can empty jump and then wait it out, sure, but there's no safe jumping it. Okay, now let's talk about down, forward, and heavy, or 3H if you prefer. The Genocidal Uppercut, because this is Cooler's signature move, honestly, over everything, even over the dive kicks. So the Genocidal Uppercut, what makes it special? Hey, well, it goes pretty far, right? No, hey, I bonk you. That's cool. It doesn't go quite full screen, just a little bit shy of that. So if you're just a little bit closer than full screen, it'll connect. And it does stuff like this. So, hey, look at that. It doesn't respect most moves in the game. Like, that's the basic key blast. What about, you know, proper projectile, right? Well, nah, don't care. What about my sick instant air dash heavies, you know, just coming in? Nah, don't care. What about me just homing dashing from full screen? Nah, don't care. So this move here, the Genocidal Uppercut, is immune to most forms of attack in this game. It is immune to basic key blasts, proper projectiles like beams and all that kind of stuff, any air attack, as it does have the air anti-air property, basically like a down heavy. So basically anything that's not a physical-based attack with your 2 feet on the ground. Anything short of that, Genocidal Uppercut goes through it and doesn't care. Now, that said, it's not the be-all, end-all, but yo, it is really belligerent and really stupid, and you can get away with abusing it a lot. But just to show you some of the weaker aspects of it. Well, one, hey, it doesn't start on frame 1, so you can't just, like, wake up with it and do it like you could with your Wake Up Invincible Reversal, right? So it's not a frame 1 thing. Also here to note, and we'll turn on our frame data just so we can see, it's not safe on block. See here, -10. That is punishable by everyone, and this is. So what you want to do is something like this, cancel into a key blast, and okay, it's safe then. But here's the thing, you know, you don't really get a combo. Normally when you connect, your only real option is the homing dash, right? And there is a little bit of a gap, so if the enemy knows you're going to homing dash after the block here, it's free down heavy bait, right? So at which point, well, okay, I'll just do my key blast, and that's a true block string. But it is genuinely and truly difficult to hit confirm it, to see whether or not you got the hit or the block. Like, you kind of just have to go for it, right? And if the enemy knows you kind of just have to go for it, then they can be a little more inclined to, you know, just down heavy out of it. But still, that said, they have to know this, right? And in the split second time, they have to, like, realize, assess what it is, and then react to what it is. That can be difficult. And obviously, the homing dash makes it safe as well once it's blocked, all that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, just keep in mind, you got to work with it a little bit. You just can't just do it, and there's nothing bad that'll ever happen to you. Now, we do have some people who have assists that play very friendly with the uppercut, and if you have these people backing you up, then you can start to get pretty stupid with it. So assists that hit higher up and have a decent amount of hits done, you can work a lot with it. All you gotta do is do your uppercut, and right before it hits, or a little bit further back, depending on assist timing and all that kind of stuff, right? Just call it, and then, hey, that's all there is to it, right? So I'm using Janemba's B assist right now as an example here, and do it, hit, oh cool, it hit, and then, you know, from there, okay, let's combo out and just do the whole thing, right? And if I were to be blocked, for example here, normally, once again, it is not safe on block, but hey, okay, whatever, it's still my turn. You know, from there, just kind of do whatever I want to do, right? So this assist plays very, very well with the Genocidal Uppercut, and it lets you just basically get belligerent and stupid with it. And of course, that's not the only one. I'm just picking that as an example here. Like, you know, Dragon Ball Super Broly, also another example, makes it safe on block, plus on block, and combo and hit. And just play around with various assists. Once again, hitting higher up is a bonus, because the uppercut does knock people up, obviously. And anything that has more plus frames, also a bonus in case you get blocked. But yeah, assist usage lets you get really stupid and really belligerent with this, because once again, it blows through most forms of attack in the game, right? So the only real way to stay safe is to stay in the air, and once you stay in the air, yo, Cooler's got bigger normals than you do, more than likely, so he'll be able to catch you and go from there. Another thing that is very important to know, and this is character specific, but it does cover a few characters here, is what I call the Fat Feet Club. So if you're in the Fat Foot Club, this works. So you can go your uppercut and stand S. And as you see here, that is a natural combo. So now I don't have to worry about the whole, can I get my homing dash in without getting down heavy, all that kind of stuff. I can just do the option that's safer on block, and the combo's on hit, right? So, oh cool, homing dash, let's recombo, right? So on a normal, quote-unquote, character like Frieza, this doesn't work. And this isn't some, like, big character thing, right? Nappa, in all aspects, is a much larger character than Ginyu. Doesn't work on him. Like, it doesn't work on Broly, right? Like, this isn't a character size thing. It's just something to do with the fact certain characters have wider feet than other characters, and it allows this to happen. giving you a better combo route potential and a better defensive option if it's blocked. So that said, these are the following characters this works on. Captain Ginyu, as you've seen, hey, there it is, right? Super Saiyan Vegeta and Blue Vegeta, but not Base Vegeta. Base Vegeta has tiny feet, I guess. Piccolo, Cell, Adult Gohan, Hit, and Beerus. Against all these characters, this is a very viable option to go for. Now, that said, if they are higher up in the air when you catch them, then you're still going to miss. This is for people more flush to the ground. But against these specific characters, this is a very viable route to go for, and it's just so much safer for you if it gets blocked, and if it gets hit, and then whatever, it's like an easy hit confirm. You can just go from there, right? So against these characters, that is, generally speaking, a better option. So now let's quickly talk about Cooler's assists. So hey, everyone's got 3 assists now, right? So let's talk about it. His A assist is the classic one. It is the uppercut. It does have some invincibility, yes. However, it does not have invincibility on frame 1, just like the other uppercut assist. It does take a few frames for that invincibility to get going. Now, of the 3 uppercut, well, I guess there's more than 3 uppercut assists now that I think about it. But of the uppercut assists, it is the slowest one to get going. But it does have a lot more range, as you can see here. The amount of screen Cooler controls when he does the knee is pretty excessive. It is pretty big. So if you're looking for screen control on top of the usual defensive aspects of an uppercut assist, then hey, it's gonna do good by you. His B assist is the Genocidal Uppercut. So basically everything we talked about in the last section holds true here, because it has all the same properties. The range seems to be a bit shorter than the actual move itself, because Cooler could hit from here, like this distance roughly, when the assist kind of whiffs from there, which sucks. So you got to be a bit closer to make some use of it, but once again, just like the base move itself, invincible to projectiles, invincible to air attacks. So it's good in that regard. Also, the block pressure here, if we turn on our stats, it has a fair amount of block stun here at 29, which is average-ish. However, keep in mind here, the A assist here has 26, so it has a little bit less. So if you're looking for more block stun, I guess a couple frames does matter. It really does. And I guess in that regard, it'll do better by you. That all said here, let's talk about the C assist. So the C assist is the beam. So just like all C assists, yes, the regeneration on the assist, the cooldown's a lot longer than an A or B assist. And as far as C assists go, it's pretty average. But then once again here, can add a lot of power to teams that, you know, could use it. Like something basically that's like, oh, I got my Ki Blast, cool, hit. Alright, now going to confirm and all that kind of stuff, right? So it gives you a lot of extra leverage and a lot of extra power a normal assist wouldn't give you in that regard. And as far as the beam go, Cooler's beam is a wider than average beam, at least from my initial testing on like looking at hitbox stuff here. Not crazily so, but just a little bit. And that said here, the screen control is good. You know, all the usual stuff with the C assist. Helps with combo ability, all that kind of stuff. The level of screen control it gives you because it's a beam. It's solid. Provide it with other characters that have good screen control themselves, all the better yet. If you're going to pick one, I would probably say pick A or C. The B assist, honestly, even though I was over the moon for it when Season 3 came out, it's not what I thought it would be in practice. So I'd say if you're looking for quick cooldowns, all that kind of stuff, and, you know, decent amount of screen control and ability to control what's going on, go for the A assist. And if you're looking for all the fun stuff C assist give you on top of being a serviceable beam, go with the C assist. Okay, very quick note here on dive kicks and supers. So when you do a dive kick, and this is applicable for the light and the mediums, it leaves you in an airborne state for your super cancelable period. So if I go for a super right away, I will go into my aerial level 1 with light and with the medium. And conversely, if I want to go right into level 3, I'll do my aerial version of level 3 and I'll go and grab all that kind of stuff, right? So that's kind of fixed. You always have to do the air super. If you wait long enough to return to the ground, well, they're going to get up by then. You're just going to whiff. So that's not going to work out for you. Now, the EX versions, be it the regular EX dive kick or the version that comes off the... Now, for the EX versions, be it the regular EX dive kick or the version that comes with your uppercut here, you get to choose. So if you do it like first possible frame, you'll still get your airborne level super, or your airborne level 1 super, that is. But if you just wait a split second, you just land on the ground. And from there, then you can go in your regular level 1 and do whatever, right? So you get the choice. Now, all things being equal, your level 1 super is going to do more damage than your area level 1, because it has much better minimum scaling. So basically, the EX options give you the ability to get your grounded super. Now, if you're going for a level 3, you don't want to get that grounded super, because if you get your grounded level 3, then you just did a counter and you wasted your bar, right? You need to do that aerial version to get the actual hit in. But yeah, just keep in mind, if you're looking to get the maximum amount of damage possible, other than the fact, obviously, EX do more damage anyways, they do put you grounded, thus giving you the ability to get your level 1 super in on the ground and do quite a bit more damage. Now, this one is sort of self-evident, I guess, but I do gotta say that Cooler has longer normals than most people in this game, right? He's got big arms, he's got a big tail, all that kind of stuff, and that definitely helps him out. So, generally speaking, because he has bigger normals, his engagement range in ground and air is better than the average character, right? Like, you know, stand M hits pretty freaking far away. Down M, the tail, hey, yo, that's got some range, right? And some people have comparable down M's in range with like slides or something. That has travel time, right? It takes additional frames for the slide to get to the enemy, versus this happens all at once, right? So generally speaking, Cooler's down M is a lot faster to get that range used up. Jump M, when you're engaging air to air, usually you start off like M, then LL, right? So either you get your block string on the way down, or you get your hit confirmed and go down heavy and just combo it from there. Cooler, jump M being a lot longer than the average characters helps him out, as it lets him engage from further away. Also for cross-up stuff, like he can be touching you, right? And he can always get a conversion no matter what. Some characters struggle in this regard. For Cooler, it's trivial. He always gets the conversion. It is not hard for him. Like, once again, can be touching you, instant air dash over, go for the M, and since stand M also reaches from very far away, hey, easy peasy, right? So it makes this left-right game a little bit stronger than the average character, because some characters, they need to be specific distances for their lights or mediums to cross you up. Cooler, whatever, doesn't care, right? So, just to note, I guess, once again, seemingly enough, self-evident enough, I guess, but Cooler's range is a big feather in the cap, because it lets you do stuff like, hey, I'm just going to down M, right? I'm just going to buffer heavy into it, right? And if nothing connects, whatever, the heavy don't come out. If it connects, cool, I got you, it's combo time. And even if it's blocked, I can just stand S to reset and then -5. It's all good, man. Cooler can play the range game big time. Now here, I want to talk about just generalized block strength theory. So say the enemy is, you know, not blocking, you get your combo, you know, you want to go for something like that, right? So light, light, medium, medium, forward H, and that's kind of the basic building block. Now, why do we want to do that, besides obviously the fact that it's a good combo route, is because of this. So, Cooler has 3 lows he can put out in any given string, and some overheads. So the overheads are obviously the universal overhead and the dive kicks, right? So when you're doing a given block string, it becomes like this. So light, lights, whatever, you get it, right? And medium, medium, that's where the fun begins. So we go medium, medium, and the forward H. So right there, you provided 2 lows back to back. The medium, medium, the second medium is your low, so you're down M, right? And the forward H is also a low. So you want to do this to help build the enemy to understand, okay, there's going to be 2 lows back to back. At which point, hey, you can transfer over, go like medium, medium, then go for a universal overhead or a quick dive kick or whatever. Now, the low from the forward H is a lot faster than dive kick, so technically we can do what we call fuzzying, where they block low, then like block high in a very specific thing to catch both. But once again, hey, you can do a lot of different things with it. You can go medium, medium, and then like stagger the forward H to catch people doing that. There's so many options, right? But you can technically put out 3 lows in a row. So you can go light, light, medium, medium. That's your first low. From there, your second low would be forward H. And then you go for your third low in the Quake. And at any given point during that thing, between the first, second, or third lows, you can say, okay, now I'm going to throw out a threat of an overhead and a dive kick or universal overhead to make you think twice. And this is on top of any stagger pressure you have, right? But since you have a special move overhead, you can just do it whenever, right, in the block string. Another thing that's really good here, so you can see here the light and EX versions of the dive kick, 24 frame startup. The Death Shaker low specifically is 22 frame startup, so they hit very close to the same frame. So if you go for one or the other, you can make it kind of ambiguous. Yes, it is on the edge of reactable, but, you know, how many times you've been clocked or seen someone else get clocked by just a regular old universal overhead? It's also 24 frames. And I'm running out of breath here. Oh my god. Even the mighty Goichi, best defense in the world, right? I've seen him get clocked by a universal overhead into assist a million times, right? So even the best of the best can't react purely off that. And once you start introducing the fact, okay, I can put in so many different lows, and you got to watch out for these, and if you get hit by especially EX dive kick, it's still my turn. You are not allowed to do whatever you want to do. It can build the frustration and get people to crack. And the more they crack, the more they're starting to want to vanish out. They're going to want to hit buttons. And then that's when you can let your stagger pressure get in. And just like, you know, okay, this. Okay, now I'm going to start taking my turn again. Then taking my turn again. Now I'm going to do my full string, see what you do. And at any given point, you can also just hit stand S and reset. Because stand S is barely negative on block. And say we do a full block string like this. So there you go, right? So -5. And yeah, -5 is not ideal. But -5 with that amount of pushback, especially after the stand H, it can give you a lot to work with. More than you think, right? Because, like, this is out of the range of everyone's lights, and this is going to be out of the range of some people's mediums. And all you can do from here is just take a quick step back and see if they're trying to hit a button or something. Down M, and then just go from there, right? Just shimmy them. And if they hit a button, then you smack them, and you get a combo. And if not, then, hey, guess what? Reset the pressure, right? And the further you are out doing this, the pressure gets more and more in your favor, because then you don't even have to step backwards. You can just challenge with a button. And even if you're a little bit negative, it doesn't really matter, because none of the buttons can nominally hit from that far away. So the ball is in your court. So when it comes to block string pressure, block string theory, there's a lot to work with here. So multiple lows and make people always want to crouch block, which can get people opened up really quick by a very valuable and much more better to do yet in Season 3 half bar EX dive kick, right? That if you get your hit, awesome, and if not, cool, it's still your turn. You still get to keep going because you're plus on block, right? Between that, general stagger pressure is also that's very good because of the range of your buttons, all that kind of stuff. Basically speaking, what I'm trying to say here is Cooler, solo, without the need of assists, has pretty good block string pressure and block string options. Now, to talk on anti-reflect strings here, you want to change up your strings just a little bit if you think you're going to get reflected on. Because, like, you know, this usual stuff, it ain't going to cut the butter, right? You're donezo, you're out, you're not in, right? But one thing to know here, so say if you're anticipating a reflex, say either you're staggering your pressure or whatever, all that kind of stuff, rely on the power and the range of the down M. Because it'll get you back in the game, and it's not as tight as, say, like LL is, so both hits get reflected. So just to give you an example here, so the reflex is going to happen, and then I hit down M right away, right? And this is also a true combo if it gets hit L in the down M. So reflect out, but I'm back in. So much the same here, say I get staggering my LL, and I'm going to get reflected out. So I'm just going to go down M to cancel and see what happens. Hey, when you know it, I still got the range, right? So long story short, if you expect to get reflected at the start of a string, just toss a down M in there. The down M will basically keep you in the game long enough to smack them, and it's not the one reflex not going to catch both options like other things that can, as you can see right there. So yeah, down M is basically the anti-reflect answer. Now also, say one of your instant air moves is getting reflected, right? So say you're going in for the kill, once you knock them down, instant air heavy, all that kind of stuff. And hey, you got reflected, right? As long as you're not just mashing buttons right away, what you can do is, once you get reflected out after a jump attack, just hit regular heavy. It will actually bring you back in and go from there, right? So if they're mashing buttons afterwards or whatever, you're definitely going to catch them dead to rights. And of course, if it gets blocked, hey, stand S, make it safe. So Cooler, generally speaking, has a lot of ways to get back in. Either using the long range of down M, or just using stand heavy. Alright, now the next part of the video here, and it's going to be the next little while, is we're going to be talking about knockdown pressure and Okizeme, if you will. So Cooler is very self-sufficient in this regard, both be it for supers, combos, general stuff, all in all. He's a lot more self-sufficient than the average character, so we're going to be going over a lot of it. So let's start with a basic corner combo example. So I'm going to do a basic corner combo here, kind of a new Season 3 standard, if you will. And all I'm going to do after all this is super basic, and bare bones as it gets. There we go, it's snare dash heavy. Cooler's heavy attack here in the air, the hitbox on it hits way high up, higher up than most. So he can easily catch up techs and back techs. And this timing, all you have to do, just do that combo, instant air dash heavy. So beats up techs, beats back techs, beats wake up down heavy, beats vanish, basically beats everything but reflect and delay tech, right? And because it's an instant air dash, you recover basically right away. So if they're trying to like delay tech buttons or whatever, you don't have to worry about it, right? You'll win. So that's the most basic building block right there. We can get a little more fancy, yes, but that's the most basic building block right there, and it covers pretty much everything thanks to the magic of his jump heavy being very big hitbox and very belligerent. Now, of course, I guess the only weakness, if you would give it one, is if they air tech specifically and we're trying something, either trying to jump out or vanish or hit buttons or whatever, all the reward you're going to get is just that heavy hit and nothing else, right? So if you're looking for a little bit more, there are two other routes we can go with that have a little bit more flaws attached to them. Once again, we'll do the same basic corner combo route we did before. So we're just doing the same thing here. And all we're going to do different now is when we land, go for medium dive kick. So medium dive kick at that specific timing, right when you land off that specific combo. Once again here, catches up tech, catches back tech, catches vanishes, hits them in time before down heavy can go off and get the invincibility frames. So it basically beats everything, right? The only thing is, this one is a little bit hurt by delay tech. So if you miss the move and they delay, then depending if they do a partial delay or not, they can kind of beat it up. But it catches people trying to hit up tech and do buttons, all that kind of stuff. Much better than just a regular H, because, you know, it's special, it's super cancelable rather, and you get a lot more from it. But it's a little more susceptible to delay wake-ups. But still, gives you better options against up-techers. And hey, it still has all the same options, right? So if you want to be introduce a little bit more element of risk, you can still catch people doing all the same stuff and get a bigger reward if it hits specifically on air tech. Conversely, if you want to change up the combo just a little bit, because we need a very specific amount of height for this, we're going to go L down H right here, no second L, and go for an universal overhead after that. What's going to happen here is we're going to hit the universal overhead, which shares the same, you know, animation as the jump H. We're going to hit it very late into the animation, and we'll be able to follow up from it. As you can see right there, we overheaded, they up-teched, we caught them, and we could still confirm in time and just re-combo from there, right? And if it hits them on the ground, same deal here, you have enough time to combo from it, and if they block it, then hey, it's still plus on block. So once again here, better reward against hitting an airborne opponent if they are doing stuff. Has a bit of a window where delay techs can get it, but once again, not too big of a deal, because once again, if you just do regular instant air dash heavy, it catches everything. And if they try to do delay tech wake up button shenanigans, the instant air dash heavy, well, it's going to win. So don't worry about that, right? So introduce it, the basic concept first, and then you get a little more fancy once they start trying other stuff. So that's just the first part here. And once again here, the first layer, instant air dash heavy, gets everything anyway. So if you want to be nice and safe, that works. Now say off the dive kicks, like EX dive kick specifically. Much the same works, honestly. All you gotta do is just tiny dash forward, and instant air dash heavy, and you got him. Up tech or back tech don't matter. You got him dead to right, so you can keep your pressure going. It doesn't have to be more complex than that. I know a lot of Oki setups, I got to do this, that, and the other, frame perfect timing, or call an assist, or something. For this, just tiny dash forward, instant air dash heavy, bingo, bango, bongo, it works. Very simplistic in that way to be sure, but man, simple is good. So why would you want to make it more complicated? So Cooler's grounded level 1. You actually can get a little bit off it, but here's the problem, because of all the side switches, right? And from full screen, your options are limited, to say the least. So what you got to do is find a way to dunk them back into the corner. Now, it's possible. There are ways to set it up. I'll showcase an example later in the video. But yeah, and from there, all you got to do is instant air dash medium. It's nothing fancy, right? But it works. So say they're set to down heavy. Now, they will have time to down heavy. This won't stop that. But here's the thing. It's a safe jump. So if they down heavy or wake up super, level 3, whatever, you have safe jump opportunities. And if they wake up vanish, you have enough time to deal with it. So it's not the most lock, cut and dry, amazing Oki of all time, but it's something, right? The big attraction of the move obviously is the damage more than anything. But if you can manage to flip the switch on them and get them cornered with the move, then just keep it in mind, it's an air dash medium. It keeps you safe. Maybe it's not the most amazing of all time, but it will keep you safe. Now, Cooler's level 3. I know you might be thinking, well, also side switches, so it must be kind of difficult to get any kind of pressure afterwards, especially because it dunks you pretty far away. And no, this you actually can work with, even from full screen, right? The fact that it says 56 frames of advantage, it gives you a lot to work with. Not the least is this first option I'll show you here. So after your level 3, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to instant air dash twice and go for a medium. And we're going to connect because, Cooler's got a very long tail, right? So puts us right in perfect range. And of course from that hit then we can go for a follow-up or whatever. And that timing is good timing because it beats vanishes, beats down heavies before they can trigger their invincibility frames against aerial attacks, all that kind of stuff. It's everything you need. Other than the fact that it's a little bit obvious because here you are swinging your tail as you're coming in. And there's a reason why the empty version, I am swinging my tail, just to create a little bit extra visual noise because we have a low option as well. So once again here, we're going to do the first part here. Just going to instant air dash and just whiff medium. Just once again to create some visual noise. And hey, wouldn't you know it? So after that first instant air dash there, we're going to go right into our Quake. And as long as you didn't do it mathematically perfect, actually doing it frame perfect can hurt you. If you did it frame perfect, it'll basically miss on that first possible frame. But as long as you're not literally frame perfect, it'll hit meaty and go from there. So we have basically created a scenario where it's basically guessed overhead or low. Once again, that first instant air dash, it's already putting people in the mindset of the instant air dash. And they hit roughly around the same time too, so it's actually very difficult to deal with. And of course from there, the regular instant air dash medium, combo out, sure. Quake, you can vanish, or if you have an assist, all the better yet, because you can make the assist work for you, and then it's easier to combo out. But yeah, that's the basic gist of it. If you want to get really stupid, you can do something like this. Now keep in mind, this option's really stupid. This is for someone who becomes very aware of the other two options. Where you can do that, and if they're just waiting to block the incoming instant air dash medium or reflecting or whatever, you just don't do it, then hop over their head and use your tail to bop them on the other side, right? But only do that against someone who already is expecting one of the other two options and it's already established, because otherwise you're literally doing nothing and they could, anything they want, they could do, right? So you have to have them scared and committed to blocking before you can do anything else. But yeah, that's the third potential thing. So yeah, Cooler's level 3 Oki, despite the fact it switches sides, and despite the fact it puts you at full screen, is not bad. Once again, to reiterate, the instant air medium option here, it beats everything, vanishes, down heavies, all that kind of stuff. It hits meaty, it's a safe jump, all that fun stuff. And for the quick option, hits meaty, hits roughly around the same time, creates like a high-low environment. Pretty simple, pretty basic, but pretty effective. Alright, this special little section, I want to detail the beautiful friendship between Cooler and Dragon Ball Super Broly, as Dragon Ball Super Broly mitigates one of the biggest problems Cooler has, and that is the annoying side switching issue of the level 1. You want that big damage, but sometimes you don't want to give up the corner, right? Broly says, hey, I can work with that. So Broly kind of has the same problem with his level 1, right? If you just let it rock, hey, we switch sides. But here's the thing. So if you let it rock, like, don't cancel into it right away. Cancel into it right away, Cooler's going to do his thing and hit you, right? But if you wait a brief moment and wait for that side switch to happen, you can get this. As you can see, if you wait till the last possible second, Cooler hits them and then redunks them back into the corner. And then we can use some of that corner pressure we talked about later, or rather earlier in the video. So the timing on that is hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, right? If you do it too early, Cooler's just going to look like a dummy and just you wasted the bar, right? And if you do it a bit too late, then Cooler still can't connect in time, and that sucks, right? But it's an option on the table. But now that said, how about I just give you the easy option that always works? Alright, so I'm going to do a full corner combo with Broly just to have you know, like, hey, this works at maximum hit stun decay. This isn't just like I do a super and it's a one-off. Alright, now look at this. See what happens here. And when you know it, hey, he brought us all the way back to the corner. So I went corner to corner thanks to that super structure using Broly's level 1 air super because you can control whatever directions you want to go in, right? Don't do it as fast as possible. Like, let each hit kind of rock by itself for a split second because you do have a little bit of time before you have to choose the next option of your direction. And yeah, take you corner to the other corner, and then Cooler's waiting on the other side, and he side switches the enemy back into the corner so you don't actually lose anything. So that is just a fun little way to make sure Cooler can always maintain the corner while doing his grounded level 1 super. Okay, so now here's a big question. Where does Cooler go on a team? Is he the point character? Does he go mid? Or is he the anchor? And honestly, I think Cooler is well suited to all 3 positions. Cooler, his self-sufficiency is much better than average, right? He doesn't need other characters to do stuff for him. His control of the neutral, like going back and forth, just fighting for space and all that, is better than average. So he doesn't need assists to help him with that either, right? So those 2 things alone, that makes him a plenty fine anchor, right? The fact that he has workable assists. I'm not going to say his assists are best in class, because honestly they are not. There's definitely characters with better assists than Cooler, right? But the knee works, and his C assist for what it is a pretty workable C assist. The B assist, there's some specific cases you can make it work, but generally speaking, it's not as good as the other 2, right? So what he offers to a team is solid enough, right? It's not quite Yamcha assist or something like that, but it works. But with that said, too, once again, his screen control and his self-sufficiency are good reasons to put him up in point. Because, one, hey, having a good neutral is always good for a point character, period. His ability to bypass a lot of garbage in neutral also makes him a good point. Because the point character is generally, you know, normally, at least at the start of the match, dealing with the opponent's point character, which means they also got a lot of garbage to fill the screen, right? And Cooler can go, no, I don't want to deal with it, right? Down forward H, Genocidal Uppercut here. Can bypass a lot of the garbage that starts at the beginning of a match, right? You know, jumping back, calling multiple assists, filling the screen with trash, all that. Cooler can just say no to it at any given time. And plus, if he has certain assists backing him up, his usage of the uppercut can get a lot more better and a lot more belligerent, as he can help bypass some of the shortcomings of it. So, with that said, he basically works anywhere. Like, his ability to not only control neutral, but to bypass neutral makes him a good point character as well as a good anchor character. And as for a mid, I think mid's probably the weakest position you probably want to put him in. I think he's probably better suited to a point or an anchor, but still mid, it just works just fine. He provides an assist to work with. He'll be up and back soon enough, one way or the other, and he can do a lot of his stuff to work with. Now, that said, I guess I'm talking him up in a way that makes him sound like he's OP or something. No, he's not OP. I think he's one of the better characters in the game. Especially in Season 3, because a lot of Season 3 changes have helped favor him. But with all that said, Cooler works, in my opinion, in any position you want to put him in. Now, as for a generalized game plan for Cooler, it's gonna be kinda, well, general. Cooler is a fundamentals-based character for the most part. You're not going to get sick mix-ups and weird gimmicks and gigaws and all that kind of stuff. You're going to win through solid play. And the game gives Cooler all the tools he needs for that solid play. Once again, his normals being bigger than most other characters, that's a big, you know, feather in the cap, right? He has very good combo structure. Like, he has a lot of good corner carry. He does very respectable damage mid-screen and in the corner solo, and obviously more with assists. He has a lot of fun tools. He has an invincible meterless reversal. That's still very rare in this game to have that, right? That is a simple tool that he can match through block pressure that, you know, gives the fear of God to any person who's trying to do staggers and all that, because they have to know Cooler might be just jamming away trying to get this off, you know, and you got to slow down when that's a threat. Also has a meterless source of plus on block frames, and a metered one as well. It's a little bit better. So Cooler is very good at just making sure it's always his turn. Once again, as we went over in like the block string pressure stuff here, he's very good at staggering it out or just going for it. And once again, speaking of just going for it, like, this is a decent enough tool just for screen control, right? Don't be obvious about it, because if the enemy's paying attention to what you're doing rather than just what they want to do, something like this, it's pretty obvious and it's going to get down heavied. But it's still another option on the table, right? And the X dive kick's very quick for what it does, and it's very good. But I guess what I'm trying to say is just play smart, don't play stupid, and Cooler will make it happen. You control space better than the average character, you do more damage than the average character. You got every tool you could really want in a character, other than, I guess, the old low-hitting down light, which he does not have, to be sure. But, you know, he's got a 6-frame starter, which, you know, that's pretty rare in a big character. So he's got that, and I guess he doesn't even really need it, honestly. With all the other tools he has, I think he's just fine. So, honestly, I got nothing really profound or mind-boggling to tell you in this section here. Just play a solid game, and Cooler will give you everything you need to make that solid gameplay happen, and just go from there. And so we come to the end of the video. So I've said this a million times already in the video, I'm sure. I haven't edited it yet, I don't know. But Cooler, fundamentals-based character, just play smart and solid, and he'll make it happen. He's got every tool you could possibly want. Big normals, plus on block stuff, invincible, reversal, big damage, good combo structure for the damage, and also for corner carry. There's very little you couldn't want, other than, I guess, he doesn't have that low-hitting down light. You know what? I think we've gotten to the point now, finally, where the people can finally admit, yo, that's not even really that big of a deal, unless you're trying to play a very mix-up heavy playstyle, which you don't have to, especially in Season 3 of Dragon Ball FighterZ. I've been singing Cooler's praises since late Season 1. He got better in Season 2, and Season 3 is the best thing that ever happened to him, because it got rid of a lot of the universal mechanics that didn't favor him. And he got even a little bit better yet, because, you know, hey, like, Stand S is the only real buff he got for hit stun, but it turned out to be a really big one, because it completely changed his combo structure, so now he does even more damage than he used to. And, yeah, not much more to say than that. Cooler is cool. Maybe not tippity top tier, but he can definitely make it work. And with all that said, my friends, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.